Live.
Ish.
Hey, I'm Lonnie,
I'm Mark.
and this is Malarkey at Infinity Flux. This is actually a comic book. We're going to talk about the Secret Empire.
Final issue.
Spoilers galore here. We're just going to talk about the entire thing all the way up to the ending.
Right about here is where you want to stop if you don't want to know anything else.
Yeah, now, up to this point, this 10 issues. We've talked, like, if you want to talk about some of the early stuff and our first thoughts on it, we've done a couple of videos as the series went on. I was actually pleasantly surprised by the ending because I was expecting it to be absolute garbage, and I wasn't real thrilled with the way number 9 went.
We had talked about that.
But number 10, I feel like they could have maybe made it a little longer. I wasn't real big on the ending where Kobik sent everybody into different times for the generations.
But that's
event.
what you were saying was coming. You've been saying
Yeah,
for
but-
weeks now that something happens at the end of the end of Secret Empire, which causes them to all go back in time, and this is what this is. It's her going. Actually, not all of them went back in time. Ironheart went to the future.
Okay.
But
I haven't I haven't read that yet.
That one was interesting. She went to the future, and Black Panther's kid was checking her out.
Okay, sweet. I just got some good news.
We're being sealed into the store, by the way. That's that noise in the background. They're not going to let us out.
We
Send food. Oh, but anyway.
no, I mean, like I said, I wasn't really impressed with like number 9, but
Right.
the last issue really made up for it. I think they could have spent a little more time showing, because the Generations event where she sends them in different times,
Right.
that happens over the course of like 2 panels.
Right. They just
and
pop and then they're back.
they don't make a big deal out of it at all. They're like, oh, she sent us in different places and
to
make a
get
learning
appreciation or
Yeah,
something
like a
that. It's
learning experience
to get
or
appreciation for who we are and where we've been.
Yeah, and I was like, they really didn't make a big deal out of that at all.
Yeah, it was. For it to be like 2, maybe 3 panels, I agree. It was interesting. For me, it was a really good story, but it seemed to wrap up really. Like, it had a nice, neat bow on it.
Yeah, but
it's like, oh, we've fixed all the people that were changed, but the battle damage from all the fights is still there. You've got to fix that.
Blackwood is still dead.
And well, we no body, no death. It's comic books. I mean, Bucky was dead for how many years?
But still, it's
we will list her MIA.
yeah. But yeah, they ended up leaving all the damage, and but there is a lot of stuff because like earlier in the series, Kingpin.
Right.
I'm pretty sure something's going to come about with it. Because here's like Kingpin is almost making himself look legitimate at this point. I'm reading I believe it's the Peter Parker Spectacular Spider-Man series, and they actually break into Wilson Fisk's headquarters.
I read that.
Yeah, and he's like, "What's the deal?" And they're like, "Oh, you're basically jailbreaking these Tony Stark phones," and selling. And he's like, "Okay, there's nothing illegal about that. People do it all the time."
Yeah.
And they're like, "But you're Wilson Fisk." And he's like, "I didn't do anything wrong."
Well, and I think they're taking it. We were talking about a couple of weeks ago, or maybe even a month ago, how Marvel seems to be going back to what was basics for them, and having Kingpin be portrayed as a legitimate businessman, but still the Kingpin of crime, is going back to that because, like,
well, in Secret Empire, he was giving people food.
Yeah,
and they were like, "Why are you doing that?" And he's like, "Well, after this is all over, and we know it'll be over eventually,
right,
people will remember this."
Right. It's kind of like DC did with Lex. For the longest time, Lex was like a legitimate businessman. And no one could, he even made it the president, and no one could prove that he had done all this stuff. Wilson Fisk is kind of sort of the same way. Like there were years that, like Daredevil specifically was like, I'm going to prove that you did this, and Kingpin was like, you got to have evidence, and you have none, so go away.
But that's just like a little tiny detail in the whole thing, but I mean, I'm sorry, but the only thing I really didn't like about number 10, was the fact that Ant-Man and Bucky shrink down, jump into the cosmic cube, grab hold of the other Steve Rogers, and pull him out. And I'm like, that's just too easy.
Yeah, well, and then the one that I like, which everybody's been trying to get, we want an answer for how Hydra Cap was able to wield the hammer. Apparently, Kobik changed the enchantment on the hammer too, because it was whoever holds this hammer, if they be worthy of the power of Hydra.
And nobody knew that.
And nobody knew that until the very end, when both of the Caps grab it and it changes to the original enchantment, and
I'm not impressed with that little story twist either.
It was like I said, it was all too easy. It seemed to wrap up too easy. You've got a cosmic
they literally
entity.
Changed the rules.
Yeah, it's like you've got a cosmic entity who changed the universe, and then because she felt sad or sorry or something, or because Bucky went and talked to her for 3 panels, let me fix all this stuff that I've done.
Well, no, it wasn't Bucky, because she was already feeling remorse about everything when she first met Cap, like 2 issues ago. Yeah, I don't know, but I know they're already building up to the world doesn't trust Captain America because of all this. And
would you?
No, but I mean, they wrapped it up.
Kenzie's going to kill me for this. I don't trust Captain America. He's too good.
They wrapped it up so nice and neat at the end of this, and then like the, coming soon or whatever. It was like Secret Empire or Omega or something.
Right.
It's supposed to be like the world doesn't trust
the
Captain
ramifications
America.
of it and everything. And I will say there were a few things that I really liked about it. During the fight, Hydra Cap had the shield. He had gotten it from Sam, and he throws it at regular Cap, and Cap just kind of sort of ducks it and grabs it and comes back, and he tells him specifically, this isn't yours. Goes to the fight, and then the part that I liked about that is at the end of it, he hands it back to Sam, and he's like, I told him this wasn't his, and it's not mine either. So again, solidifying Sam as the current Captain America. So I don't see Marvel coming away from that for a while, which is cool. I like the concept behind it of, somebody else being Captain America, but then what are you going to do with Cap? Are we going to get him going back around as the Captain again? Or as Nomad?
I don't know. It's going to be weird to see how that goes, but what was that? I had something lined up. And I can't.
Sorry.
But no, the whole thing, the Secret Empire deal, like, I really don't know where it's going to go. I mean...
Yeah, well, there's a lot that is going to have to be, like Steve's going to have to answer for, even though it wasn't him, it was Doppelganger.
Oh, what happened to Evil Cap? Did he just disappear, or is he still around?
I think he just vanished. I think he was just poof, gone. I don't know.
Or
if he's still around, that's going to be even worse.
Yeah, because now I'm wondering, everybody knows which one's the real Captain America, but, if I was one of his friends or the general public, I really wouldn't trust either one of them. Because, it was kind of like Xavier when he became Onslaught.
Right.
That wasn't really Xavier. That was like the dark part of Magneto, but people from the outside looking in didn't know that.
Yep, it was Xavier. And people from the outside of this looking in, that was Steve Rogers, Captain America.
That's when you see somebody that's like... You see somebody who wields that much power and could be that much of a thing, but then they suddenly become a hero again. I'm kind of the mind, like, if I was the general public, I'd be like, can we hire somebody to just kill this guy where we don't have to worry about that possibly happening again?
Well, then we'd have to get rid of Hawkeye, because Hawkeye started off as a villain.
Rogue.
Rogue started off as a villain. Let's see here. Who else started off as a villain? The Black Knight.
Gambit.
Well, Gambit was a thief. He wasn't really.
But Gambit also became a horseman of apocalypse there for a little while.
And he was also the one that hired the Marauders to perform the...
He didn't know what they were going to do.
Yeah, but he hired them. So, okay, yeah, we'll say Gambit. Who else?
Havoc was a villain to begin with.
No, he was not.
Was he not?
No. Havoc was part of the second class of recruits when...
no, never mind. That was a Banshee is what I'm talking. Banshee was a villain. He was actually a hired hand. He was under somebody's spell or something.
Yeah, he was Interpol. Let's see here. Who else? A lot of the Thunderbolts were villains before they became heroes.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
But yeah, Marvel has a history of that too. Let's turn the villains into heroes. That was kind of
DC's kind of doing it too. We was talking about Lex Luthor just a little bit ago.
Well, oh God. Lex's Superman is the most interesting story I've read in a while. It's kind of interesting to see it, but
like I wonder how many people, like at the end of the Death of Superman story and the Return of the Superman, like I wonder how many of those people are like, God, I wonder if the right one survived.
right. Well, they had like when the four of them came out. You had the Cyborg Superman,
Yep.
and they had
The
somebody.
Eradicator.
They had somebody test him, and his DNA matched.
Yep.
And then they had the Eradicator, who pretty much just refused to be scanned.
Yeah.
Then of course we had the clone, and then Steel. Which,
Everybody knew he wasn't.
yeah, but Steel was pretty cool. I liked Steel. I wish that they hadn't have done that horrible movie with him. God, that movie sucked.
It's like everything Shaq was attached to outside of basketball in the 90s was just absolute garbage.
Speaking of which, did you know they're doing another Space Jam?
Yes, with LeBron,
LeBron James. Why would you make a second one when the first one was so horrible?
Was it horrible?
I
know
not.
people
I
personally
mean,
liked
I personally didn't like it. I mean, it was.
We may have to do a video like that after I've watched the movie.
Okay.
Because I've never watched Space Jam.
We'll put a pin in that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go watch Space Jam. Oh my god.
There's a lot of movies I haven't seen that people say I should have seen. But
Right.
anyway, Secret Empire overall, pretty good series.
As an overall
I was
arc.
pleasantly surprised by the ending because Marvel, in my opinion, typically starts out really hot, and the last 20% of the miniseries goes to crap, and it never has any lasting anything. This one, I really believe, will have lasting ramifications. Was a good ending. They didn't crap out at the end. I'm happy with it. I'd give issue number 9 probably 8.5. The overall series probably a 9.5.
I'd have to agree. Like 9, I'm gonna have to say a 7 because, we both agreed that
The
we didn't
overall
like
series?
It. No, for 9, for number 9, issue number 9.
Oh, for
a 7.
9,
Yeah.
I'm giving probably a 6 or a 7.
Yeah, and then for the overall series, 8.5, 9.
Yeah, because I will say those first 7 issues.
Oh God.
Oh man, I was
The
looking
guy who
forward
could
to 'em
throw up things
every single week. Just wanted to vomit with
Barf.
joy.
He was a cool character. I can throw up a cosmic cube.
Oh God, I actually forgot about that. That was another rewriting the rules just
Yeah.
for the plot.
Let me just throw up a cosmic cube and see how that works.
Yep.
But yeah, that's pretty much where we sit
Can't
on Secret Empire.
puke up a gun because it's too complicated.
But I can puke up a cosmic artifact because
That's great.
because reasons.
All right. Well, anyway, that's our review on Secret Empire, which ended up being a pretty good series. But it's over. Next up is they're going to have to wrap Generations later on this month. Legacy is going to be a big one shot. I wonder if that's going to be like one of those $10 books.
Oh dear God, I hope not.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
Like the
I
really
hope
big
not.
one that has like everything in it. We'll see. That'll be one of those things we have to look at. Well, anyway, I'm Lonnie,
I'm Mark.
and we are Untitled Nerd Network, brought to you
By
here on
Infinity
location at Infinity Flux in Hickson, Tennessee. Drop by and pick up those books we're talking about, because I'm pretty sure they have just about all of
They've
Secret
actually got
Empire.
all 10 of Secret Empire
Yeah,
up there on
so
one
they're
shelf.
looking.
Like it's actually kind of cool. They've got it set up to where it's like 1 through 10 on a shelf, and then they've also got all the generation stuff lined up in order. Too,
That is
on a shelf.
amazing. I need to go
So
over there and
if
have a
you're
look.
interested and if you missed it, they do have the entire run of the series here on the shelf.
Entire run. All right. Well, this has been our review of Secret Empire. Thanks for watching.